we have been in every game because our defense has really kept us in games. And tonight was a one-off, and I hope it's a one-off. I just thought our guys, I just didn't think we did a great job on the defensive end. Maybe it's the travel. Maybe it's, give Louisville credit. Maybe it's a team that can really space you out and do a great job of shooting the basketball. But didn't like the way we played on that side of the basketball. Questions?
It felt like Brandon, came back at least on the boards, really energized. What was it like seeing him back out there?
It was good. Here's my issue is that, we get a Brandon who plays hard and gives us 7 offensive rebounds, but then, you look at the stat sheet, some other guys that, you expect to play and help you, just doesn't. And so if you could give us one label, I would say we're very inconsistent in our play. That being said, I thought our young guys were really good. I thought if you want one bright spot about it, I thought Trey Parker's getting better. I thought Paul made some shots. Once again, I'm gonna always be able to point back to this game and say we didn't do a great job defensively. Like we haven't, I would say the last team that we played that we didn't play that well defensively was probably BYU, where they really shot the basketball and they shot it early. I think a lot of us, we had a couple careless turnovers early and really never really established ourselves.
Kevin, Breon said that he really had a bad vibe after the shoot around today. He just didn't think that there was a lot of connectivity there. Did you kind of feel the same way, and how much do you think that kind of carried over?
Well, it's tough because I've been in shoot-arounds and didn't get a great vibe and we win by 20. Or I've been in there, the way I look at shoot-arounds, shoot-arounds are more for coaches to feel like that they've gotten everything in and they've done their job. I thought today I didn't know if it was the most energetic one we had, but I don't think it was the worst one we had. It's just, that being said, you still have, 3-4 hours before we play. You got to lock in and be ready to go. And like I said, I was not happy, and we talked about it at halftime, or we talked about it at the end of the game. I was not happy with the way we played on the defensive end. We played extremely hard. I just thought they beat us to some toughness plays.
How do you go about keeping a roster or a locker room together that just got their 9th loss in a row this year?
I'm sorry, say the last part again.
That just suffered their 9th loss in a row.
Yeah.
How do you keep a locker room together after that?
Just stay consistent. I mean, you could have asked me that after the 6 or 7. Up until tonight, you would say, man, shit, how are they doing it? We're going to stay consistent, and, we're going to, put the guys on the floor that's going to compete every night, and that's just what it's about.
Speaking of that, I mean, how much did guys like Paul McNeil, Trey Parker, Breon Pass help themselves in the case of getting 4 minutes?
I thought, Corey, they were great. I mean, that, they don't do everything right, but they competed. And you like that part of it. And, they don't, and it's starting in practice for those guys. I mean, they're starting to turn the corner. They're starting to get it. It takes freshmen a long time to get there. And right now they're starting to turn the corner. So I was very happy with them. Trey's minutes has been going up every single game that we play. And I hope it continues to be that way because I think both of those guys was a bright spot. I thought Breon made some shots in the first half that really helped us. I think, we haven't seen the best basketball from Bryce, but I think Bryce is going to do some of the same things that the younger guys are doing.
You come off a game on Sunday where it's down to the very final possession against a good Stanford team. How frustrating is the consistency of what you're getting offense and you're getting things on the defensive side of the floor in each of these games?
It's frustrating because the word, if you guys remember, if you go back to anything that I've ever said about this team is that we need each other. And the one thing that, one game, I mean, you look at the game now and you said, well, Trey Parker and Paul McNeil playing great. Then you look back and say, who else? Yeah. And then you pick up we can throw a dart. And I said, tell me the next game you want to know. And I would say Dontrez played well and Marcus played well. And that's been our major issue thus far is that we just haven't been able to get consistent play, from anybody. And that's the toughest part about it is because we need some of our older guys to take us to the finish line. Paul and Trey, they shouldn't have to be put in that position to take us to the finish line. And we just haven't gotten that yet.
7 games left, so you still have opportunities, but you're also running out of opportunities.
Yep.
How concerned are you that you won't be able to get out of that bottom 3 and get to Charlotte?
I'm a one-game guy. I mean, I've always been. And, you know, you can't tell a coach who won 9 games not to, you know, obviously to lock in. And so, you know, we were going to have a game where we did not play well. We had a bunch of games where we were in it, we just didn't win it. And I knew Louisville could do this. I watched them. They did the same thing at SMU. They were really good. They didn't ask them to become 12-2. We have to shake this one off, and we got to go back to work, and we got to get better. And it's, you know, it's a 7-game season, but it's a 1 game for the way we prepare. And that's what we got to do. Anything's possible. I'm never, the one thing last year taught me is that anything can happen. And if we can push the right button, you know, throw this one out. You probably say, let's throw this one out. You probably say, throw the one out at Wake Forest. And you look at the rest of the games, and they were all probably great games up until the last 4 minutes of the game. And so you have to, you know, I've got to point out the positives and get back to it. Not happy right now tonight, but when we go back into the gym tomorrow, I'll point out the positive things that we've done through this stretch. And what happened to us is we had some games that were 50-50 games, and unfortunately we didn't win those games. And so obviously now you're in this position right now.
Do you feel like you need to preach the, you know, anything can happen to the players just to kind of remind them? Because I mean, Breon was honest and he said he's personally worried about making the tournament.
Yeah. No, we'll talk about all of that, but anything can happen. And, you know, if you get playing basketball at, you know, the right time, then anything can happen. We got to just start our right time right now. You know, it's a little bit different, you know, than that part of it. And, you know, we got to own this one. I'm going to own it as the head coach, and I'm going to prepare. I'm going to be pissed off all night and probably most of the day tomorrow. And then when I see our guys, we're going to prepare for Boston College. And that's how we do it. I mean, that's what it's about.
It's kind of the $1 million question, like why that inconsistency is there, and I'm sure if you had an answer, you know, but why do you think that inconsistency has been there with this team?
I just think we don't have any superstars. You know, and that's not a knock on our team. You know, I watched, you know, DJ Horns texted me today and said, I'm going to be at the game. Can I come in the locker room? I said, yeah, you can play too if you want to. You know, we don't have that one person that can just go off. And so the inconsistent play is there. And then obviously other teams do a great job of scouting also, just like we do. And up until tonight, I think our scouting and our defense has been really, really stingy. Like, we've done a good job. Now, we haven't won those games, but we've done a really good job. But tonight, you know, we played against it was the wrong night to have not where your defense didn't perform against a team that can really score in bunches. You know, they're good. They're a very good basketball team.
Was there a reason for Dennis Parker not appearing this time at all?
Nah, I just feel like I'm to right now that, you know, I'm gonna put, if you guys see a guy on the floor from this point on, just know that I feel like he's working his butt off in practice, and I'm gonna play the guys that you know are locked in and play all the time. And that's not a knock to Dennis. That's just not. It was just a feel.
There seem to be more empty seats than usual. Do you have a message to the fans to get them back into the arena before Saturday?
Well, we're fighting. I mean, we didn't have our best performance tonight, but, you know, obviously we don't. If you think, if as a fan, if you're disappointed, how do you think the guys who work extremely hard every day? We're busting our butt every day, and let's not forget one thing. Now, we did hang a banner, 2 of them, that hadn't happened in 37 and 40 years. So let's have some respect for that part of it. Understand that we might not be having a great season, but we've done some pretty good things here. So, you know, I think that's enough for people to understand that anything is possible, and what has happened and what we've delivered is pretty doggone good. And so we don't like the results, but I'm not going to quit on any situation. If there was a fan that was, you know, had a business and they wasn't doing well, I'm going to still support their business. And when you're in it, be in it. Don't be halfway, you know. And I'm not saying that your question will come off as me complaining about the fans, but I want you to make sure that's never what I've done. All I said is, here's who we are and here's what I think our message should be. I'm very grateful. Everyone who has showed up every single night, I really thank them. And those who don't show up, I understand they may have some other things to do, but I'm not a complainer about fans. I never have been, I never will be.